Dr. NT here. I'm coming to you from my home to talk about something very important. I want to talk to you about not this mug, not this awesome joeVeo Temperfect mug that you can actually buy and help support this channel. What a shameless plug. If you want to help support this channel, get yourself this Temperfect joeVeo mug. It keeps your coffee or beverage hot for 2 to 3 hours, even longer. What's really great about it is I'm a coffee sipper. Yep, Dr. NT is a coffee sipper. So once the coffee is in my cup, I don't like drinking it really fast. And as you all know, sometimes it's too hot. So what I do is I put it in my joeVeo Temperfect. This actually draws the heat from the coffee and then keeps that heat inside this mug. There's a special vacuum compartment in here that with something that helps draw that heat in so that it brings the coffee to a perfect temperature for drinking it immediately within 1 to 2 minutes after you put it in the mug. And then afterwards, it keeps your coffee hot for 2 to 3 hours because it just keeps radiating that heat back into the coffee. So one more time, a shameless plug for joeVeo Temperfect mug. If you want to get yours, look in the description down below and I'll have a link. You should know that if you do purchase one using this link, I get a small finder's fee. It doesn't change the cost to you, but it helps support this channel. So thanks. But that's not why I'm coming to you today. I'm coming to you today about something even more important than that mug. I want to talk to you about privileged mode. For those of you that don't know what privileged mode is, it's the ability to get into your treadmill, your bike, your elliptical, your rower. It's the ability to get into the back-end Android desktop. So iFIT is an application that runs on an Android operating system. It runs on an Android environment, like your phone. A lot of you have Samsung phones or a phone that's running an Android operating system. Well, your treadmill, your bike, your elliptical, your rower, your NordicTrack, your ProForm machine is running an Android operating system. It's running it in the back end, so you don't see it. When you power up your machine, you see iFIT. Well, there's a way to actually see the back end operating system. And in the past, we were able to get into it by just using the 10-tap technique. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wait 7 to 8 seconds, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and boom, privilege mode. Unfortunately now, instead of seeing privilege mode, you see something like this. Once you're done with your 10-tap technique, a window pops up and it says, call iFIT, call NordicTrack. You have to call a number to get permission to go to privilege mode. Yes, I know that sounds funny. You need permission to go to privilege mode on your machine. I'm not sure about that. I know like Microsoft. Microsoft is a huge company and they will not update your laptop or your computer unless you specifically say, I want updates to Windows. But you don't have to have updates to Windows. That's not the case with iFIT. But I believe I found a way where you can block the iFIT updates and you can update iFIT on your own schedule. So you don't have to have auto updates. What I'm going to show you now is how to block automatic iFIT updates. And I have to say thank you to a lot of smart viewers, a lot of smart subscribers. You know who you are, so you have my appreciation. And you have everyone else's appreciation because hopefully this will work and it'll allow you to get back into privilege mode. Now, if you have an older machine, unfortunately, you still have to call iFIT and they're going to give you a hard time. They don't want to give you the code. They're going to ask you, why are you going into privilege mode? You have to have a good reason. One of the good reasons that I've heard from many of you is because you want to sell the machine. You want to wipe all your information and you want to sell the machine and you want to wipe it back to factory reset. That works. The reason I'm calling them is because my iFIT software is acting up. It's looping. Sometimes when I do a search function, it turns off iFIT. So I have a lot of issues with the iFIT software. And so what's happening is if you have issues with the iFIT software, or if you have perceived issues, let me try that again, perceived issues with the iFIT software, let them know. I actually have an email from a technician that tells me to go into privilege mode. You'll have to figure out a way. The best way is you want to sell your machine, or you're having issues with iFIT, or iFIT's not working and you've tried everything. the main thing, your first hurdle will be getting that privilege mode code. They're going to fight you. They don't want to give you that privilege mode code. But once you get the code and you type it in, you have temporary access to the privilege mode, to the Android desktop. So you have to work fast. I don't know if it's 15 minutes or what. So you don't have a lot of time. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up the environment first for you to succeed. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to configure your wireless network to block certain websites that iFIT has, that I believe iFIT is using, NordicTrack is using to push automatic updates. I'm going to run you through how to block the iFIT websites or the web pages using Verizon Fios, because that's what I have. If you have another router, then you'll have to research on how to go in there and block certain websites. A lot of the times it's under parental controls. And for Verizon Wireless, it is under parental control. Unfortunately, you have to do it with your phone, with an app. It won't let you do it from a website. But most of you should be able to access your router by going into a web page and just going into, I believe it's 192.168.1.1. So if you type in 192.168.1.1, you should be able to get into your router. Let's go ahead and try it out. So let's get right to it. Let me bring up a web browser. Let me use some really fancy video techniques here. Look at that. I'm somewhere in the jungle. Hopefully you can still see me. So normally to access your router, you'll just type in, this is a very typical IP address that most routers default to, unless you've changed it. It should be 192.168.1.1. And it's going to say it's not secure, but you're fine. You're just going into your router. For me, it's a Verizon Fios router. You might have a Linksys. Give me 1 second and I'll type this in. All right, we're in. So Verizon Fios, unfortunately, does not give you any control of the router. It's locked up. Verizon Fios is very similar to NordicTrack. They lock down their router. So there's not much that I can do here. If I go to parental controls, as you can see, there are certain rules in here, but they're all grayed out. And there's not much I can do here. It essentially tells me to use the app. It says start using it today on the My Fios app. Well, I happen to have my phone connected to the computer, so you'll be able to see that. But most of you should be able to get into your router through this method and then go into parental control somewhere, and you'll be able to do what I'm about to do on My Fios, okay? So let me minimize this. You want to block auto updates to your machine. So this is how you do it. So as you can see, I have parental controls right here. You want to manage profiles and restrictions. The first thing we're going to do is take a sip of my coffee. We're going to create a new profile. You can call it whatever you want. So we'll call it iFit_block. So now we have an iFit_block profile. It seems like it might be hard for some of you that haven't messed around with your router, but it's actually very simple. Just follow along. I promise you'll be fine. So we have a brand new iFit block profile. Now we want to assign devices. So it says here, edit assign devices. So bear with me. This is my first time doing this. So here we are inside the iFit block profile. It says here, edit assign devices. So if you click on that, as you can see, all my devices are here. It says select the device you would like to assign to this profile. So how do you know what device your machine is, your NordicTrack or your ProForm machine is? That's a very good question. So there's really no way of knowing, but there is a way of knowing. So the first thing that you have to do before you assign an IP is find out the IP on your system, on your treadmill, your bike, your elliptical, on your NordicTrack or your ProForm machine. You need to find the IP. I'm going to switch over to the treadmill, and then from there, I'll show you how to figure out your IP.